Hi, everyone. Okay. You've all been nagging me about this. I'm not really interested in it, but what is interesting then came along. So basically, her name is Blake Lively, and that's Ryan Reynolds. You know him as, he's part of the Marvel. Anyway, he's part of the Marvel team. So these two, um, the thing is, I kind of looked at it and thought, okay, so what happened 12 years ago? This was from last year when the shit hit the fan. Um, I haven't watched this movie. Apparently, it's a really good movie. The guy there called Justin Baldoni. I've never watched anything with him in it before either. And so, put it this way, Justin Baldoni is the wick. So it's the wick to the candle or the wick to the time bomb. And I actually thought he would have gone off by now, but he hasn't. He's kept his, he's kept his cool, which does not normally happen with fire. But he has fire and fire. So the fire, he supports himself. He has to discipline himself in that way. So he kind of knows what, he can and can't do. But I am surprised he has not yet exploded. I'm serious. Okay. So this book he bought, he paid for it, whatever he paid for it, and turned it into a movie. And he picked they picked Blake Lively, him and the producers or whatever. Now, Blake Lively is that yang fire, it's that bonfire. And this bonfire is the stage. So if I am on that stage, get out of my way, that sort of thing. Ryan Reynolds, on the other hand, is this yang earth, and this yang earth is like that mountain, right? And everybody goes to the mountain type of thing, except he sits on his expression. His expression elementally is a monkey. And so he's here, then he's here, then he's here, then he's here. Yeah. So for him, I love DC and Marvel. I introduced my kids to it, but with him, I've only watched one thing with him, and I've never paid attention. That's all. All right. So what these two tried to do, Blake and Ryan, is they tried to basically destroy him, right? And so then all the shit came out, etc. All I thought about was 12 years ago, what happened 12 years? This is, about to happen, whatever it is. Because remember when I talk in the workshops, 12 years, 12 days, you look at it that way, or the sixes. You look at the six. So an example is these two, Blake and Ryan, the two in the picture, they were married in 2012. So 2012 they got married. 12 years later is 2024. And so that shows you that the shit's going to hit the fan somehow, whether it's him or whether it's her, because it's done the full circle of the 12. So then it either the relationship falls and they divorce, or the relationship goes to another level. So that's what I saw in this. But what tipped it over the edge is the last child she had. Remember, I've spoken about Elon Musk before, how the child who he has now, I guess, once he was born, his power came in, he could become president. And remember, I spoke about the royals, Harry, and when they had their first child, he replaced Harry. He became the husband, the son, all that. Yeah, so it's like the shit hits the fan. So February 2023, the shit hits the fan, and then it all starts to just, yeah. And remember, they're still filming at that time, I guess. Or has she had a baby? No, I can't remember. Anyway, apparently she was breastfeeding in her caravan while they were filming, and yeah, so they were still filming that. And he knocked on the door, and she said to come in while she's breastfeeding, but then she tells everybody else that he just burst in, but everybody else, the crew and everyone, has walked in the same way. It's just him. So she always apparently does this. He always apparently does this. Blake and Ryan apparently always do this. They get into a movie and they just take over, and then people start leaving. You know, like they leave. They literally leave because they can't handle those two people in whatever movies they both have had. The thing is, in 2024, Ryan Reynolds was up shit creek with anything he did. It was going to collapse. It wasn't going to keep going. So it could have been like his last movie, his last series, his last this, his last that. That's what it was for him. So keep that in mind, because everybody is thinking it's only her, it's only her, it's only her. And then it's not, because when this child is born, it's a clash on him and his house of spouse. And when this child is born, the spirit changes for her and her house of spouse. Her spirit, her energy changes, right? So I'm only using the child here. I'm sorry, child. Olin, the child's name is, I think. So, and Martha Stewart is her idol. So, jail next. Anyway, the horrible thing with this is he was not allowed to do interviews for this, which she took over and everything and threatened him and said there was sexual whatever and this, and now everybody is coming out and saying etc., etc. So what will happen with this? She can't win this, because in the cycle that she is actually in penalty. And she came into penalty a year ago, last year. So remember, 2024. So that penalty is also a romance flower and a clash. So the penalty means she's not going to see the slap on the face coming. And the penalty means she's going to be challenged once 2023 is finished. Then you come into 2024 and it's like, psh, psh, she doesn't see it coming. Yes, this has been going on that long, I guess, a year in the past year. And it sneaked into this year as well. So for her, she should be on a stage, yes. For him, he should be on a stage, yes. Ryan Reynolds, I don't know. He already has it's kind of like the trap between heaven and the underworld. So he feels trapped, and maybe that's why he acts up and he's a little bit silly. So when I'm looking at this chart, I can't see that it's all her, but I can see it's all him, because he's in penalty with colleagues, he's in penalty with family, friends, everybody. He's in penalty with them. And there's also a clash. The thing is, when I went back to see what happened 12 years ago, they got married, and they got married in a penalty, which means it will end once the cycle finishes, or it could have, been really sour from 6 years ago. So she's actually cashing up on this, because every time she introduces one of her own products to sell, all of that, and nothing about Justin Baldoni, who plays her husband in the movie. And again, I'm so surprised, his demeanor, his calmness, all of that. So what ended up happening at the premiere, it is his movie, for God's sake. So him and his family were not allowed at the premiere. So they had to go down into, what's it called, the cellar or whatever it is there, underneath the kitchen in the place, had to go there to celebrate the basement. He had to go down into the basement with his family to celebrate. Seriously, there are pictures of this. I just can't believe this. So, too many sinking ships here. That's it. All right. So with her and him, Ryan and Blake, the two together, enjoy the happy now, because no, it actually is not going to be that way. So I think he has also 4 children. She's just had her 4th child. The other thing is Justin Baldoni, in the 10-year cycle that he's actually in, is ching 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 ching, right? So he's 41. 36 to 46 is just money, 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 right? Anything he does, it's bringing the money in. That's the cycle he's actually in. He's not in penalty. He's not in the harm. He's not in any of that. Even last year, he was not in any of that. So maybe that's why he didn't blow up. But then 46 to 56, this Justin is also ching, ching, ching. So he's in ching, ching from 36 to 56. That's 20 years. And all it's about is making money. That's pretty good, So he kind of he must have done enough work on himself to actually understand that. Now, if we look at Blake's cycle of life, it's a penalty, it's water on water, it's tsunami on tsunami, elementally. And so she's fire on fire. So both the top fire and the water clash, the bottom fire and the water clash. That's on her house of spouse. So she takes out her house of spouse with her, all right, for 10 years. And she's only been in it for 2 years so far, which means it's coming on to 2 years, which means all the shit about her is going to just come up with the tsunami, comes in, cleans the slate, and shows you the real her. It is what it is. With Ryan, again, as I said, he's like that mountain. Nothing can move a mountain. You have to blow him up. So that's how stubborn he is, just to give you an idea. So for him, the 10 years he has come into, from 3 years ago, he came into his 10-year cycle. And that 10-year cycle, on top, it's very harmonious, but on the bottom, it's not. It's robbing. It's like robbing others. And he's robbing them of their lines, of their movie. So the movie belonged to Justin. In the end, these two hijacked it. He changed the scenes. He changed the lines. He did all of that. It was no longer Justin's movie. And that's really all I can tell you. So Baldoni, with his partner, it's fine. There's the issues, they're fine. Both are actually really, really fine. She has the support, etc. And his chart all together, the animals all together when they line up, makes more metal, which is his money. Okay. Whereas for Blake, it's cleaning the slate. The water drowns her. She's struggling. And Ryan Reynolds, for him, it's the pressure, and he's trapped. He is trapped between heaven and the underworld. And he really needs to do a lot of spiritual work on himself to actually be able to survive this. It's up to him. Yeah. With Justin Baldoni, he married a lady who's called Emily. She's nurse. So the nurse, the doctor, the social worker, yeah, the whole lot. And they're fine. She's fine. He's fine. Their actual elements can challenge each other, but because of what is on top as well, it all comes together very, very nicely. And they actually married 2013, so a year after the two culprits there. But because it's a snake, he may be challenged through like his ancestors. Something is triggered from his ancestry, and that's really about it. When we get to July this year, Blake is totally gone out, nothing left. Sorry, mate. That is the way that is. And July, she will know that. July starts on the 5th or the 6th. All right. There you go. Nothing fancy. They're both losers. He's going to win. And that is it. Now it's done. And I do have somebody that wants me to do somebody's face reading. And I keep telling them I will. And something always comes up in the news. I promise you I'm going to do it next. All right. Thank you for all the questions. Have a good day.